Rob, go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, TJ. Nice to chat with you. What has Coach Moser done at Oklahoma that impresses you the most in how they play and how they've just bought in after they went through some, a bit of turmoil there for a while?
Well, the challenge for a new coach when you come in is trying to get guys, to play in a way that they can be the most successful as quickly as possible. And where he's done a great job is how they put their team together is very similar to his teams at Loyola, where with the Groves, with Tanner, Tyler and Tanner both, like they have skilled bigs they can play through, and allows that to try to pull your bigs away from the basket. So he's playing to the strengths of his players offensively, and he's put in a defensive system that they do a really good job keeping the ball out of the paint, not fouling. And so he's created a defensive system as well that also plays to their strengths. And they've done a great job both ways of quickly putting in with new players a new style of play, and it's worked effectively for them.
A quick follow-up or a quick second question. How much will playing a defense like Tech, with how intense it is, how good they are at denial, and then with the racers there at the rim as well, help you guys in the long run? You've played good defenses before, but they're unique and so intense.
With every game, you have an opportunity to, take things away that you can improve upon. And the key is to keep getting better. And so we have a lot of respect for Tech defensively for sure. And to your point, their physicality, their length, their denials is really disruptive. And until you play in the game against it, you really don't know. It's hard to simulate. And so we feel like there's things that we did well, even though it didn't always equate to us scoring, especially in the second half. But there's certainly areas we can improve. So, that's the great thing about this league is you have a daunting challenge every night in front of you. And then you have to quickly take the information from that game and make your team better and turn around and get ready to play the next one. And that's what makes the Big 12 different than every other league in the country. And so certainly some learning opportunities and things will grow from and get better as a result of that game and how good they are defensively.
All right, Jared Stansberry, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
Hey, Coach. Watching Oklahoma on film, what does Tanner Groves do that impresses you?
He's a guy that you can really facilitate offense through. So he's smart, he's skilled, he can pass. They'll play through him multiple times in a possession. He can shoot the three. So anytime you have a team where you have a prolific 3-point shooting 5-man, that poses some different challenges for how most of us design our defense, because you want to keep as much as you can, keep your 5-man closer to the basket and protecting the rim. And they space you and stretch you that way. So I think it's Grove's versatility to shoot it, drive it, pass it, and play make that makes them a very unique team to play.
Matt Bellinson, go ahead.
Hey, TJ, I'm just curious, 2 Big 12 games in, what's impressed you just about Tyrese's ability to kind of rise to this level of competition? I know you guys obviously knew it wasn't a secret that the level of defensive intensity was going to increase, coming into the Big 12. I'm curious what's impressed you about his play.
Well, when you look across the league, I don't know the exact number, but there's not very many freshmen starting in this league or even, playing in this league, right? And so where it's tough is Tyrese isn't a guy that's gone to prep school or played some national schedule for a couple of years. He's a guy that is coming right out of high school, right into the best league in America. And that's a huge jump. Where Tyrese has stepped up is that he's a guy that, he keeps getting better. He takes in information. He wants to play at his best on both sides of the ball. What's impressive is his competitiveness, his ability to bounce back when things don't go his way. And he'll need to continue doing that. When you look across the country, and we've looked into this both in terms of how we view Tyrese and how we recruit, as college basketball has gotten older as a result of the transfer portal, there's fewer and fewer guys in the spot that he's in. And I think, probably only a handful of point guards in the nation that are freshmen that are starting at the highest level. And then you put him at not only the highest level in the best league, and he's the one. So it says a lot about Tyrese and his competitive spirit, his talent, his ability, and what a great player he is. And we look forward to him continuing to develop and move forward.
What do you think the benefit is of, it's obvious, with the amount of games that Isaiah and, Gabe have played, against high level opponents, but just 2 games into the Big 12, schedule, what do you feel like he's picked up the most from just the defensive effort that you see from Isaiah and Gabe and, Jazz and whoever else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, we're great defensively for 2 reasons, and we need to continue to do those things. And one is Gabe Kelscher's an elite defender, elite on the ball, elite off the ball, takes charges, rotates effectively, oftentimes guards the other team's best player and does a great job in doing so. Isaiah's effort, energy, spirit, ball pressure, tenacity, rebounding energy helps make us a good defensive ball club. And so what you see is those 2 guys set the tone for our defense and how competitive we are defensively. And then a guy like Jazz, he's so smart. He knows what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So his anticipation skills are terrific. That's what allows him to be a guy that takes so many charges, a guy that's a great secondary rotation defender. And so what you see is that experience that those guys have had has really served us well. And we need to continue to, have the same demands of those guys and others continue to improve and have that same veteran mentality on the defensive side of the floor.
John Sears, go ahead.
Yeah, TJ, what does it say about a team that can struggle offensively so much, but still grind out a win against a top 25 team? And how do you use that as a positive going forward?
We felt like 2 things offensively. We struggled in the first half because we just got a little lax when we were up. I think it was, 22-10. I just felt like we had some just casual possessions, quick shots, unnecessary turnovers. And the second half, we struggled early. Just to be frank, we missed some layups, some open shots, and then it kind of gets in your head a little bit. So answering your question directly, I'd say where our guys have been able to erase what happened offensively or whatever's not going right for us on one side and just focus on doing the job defensively, because there's going to be times in this league that you struggle offensively because the defenses are so good. And what you have to make sure you do is keep defending and let the game come around and let that offense come around. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long as it did the other night for us, so that it's not, Isaiah making heroic shots in the final few minutes to help us through. But it says a lot about their resiliency that they're able to still defend even when we're not having offensive success.
All right, he's back. Travis Hines, go ahead.
It's going to be year 3 of the pandemic where I get all this technology to work for me. I'm sure of it. TJ, what's been the recipe for success with your defense guarding threes?
Ball pressure on the basketball, because when you pressure the ball, you spread out and stretch out like a lot of plays or actions people want to run. And so we try to be aggressive with the basketball because those are different shots, even if you get them, than what you're used to. And so, or the other thing that happens is because of that ball pressure, the passes are not on time and on target. They're off, they're high, they're low, they're not shootable. So that helps. Other reasons why we've guarded the 3 effectively have been rotations. As the other team creates an advantage, and the ball starts moving, our guys have demonstrated up to this point a good ability to have recognition to get to closeouts. We're not always worried as much as possessions wear on who's matched to who. It's just that we want to take those shots away and get there aggressively, physically, and have our hands active. So I think it's both the ball pressure. I think it's personnel recognition, which I didn't mention, knowing other teams' strengths and who the guys are you're trying to take away. And then also being able to rotate out of a challenging situation when they do have an advantage.
I think there's a school of thought that says defenses can only control 3-point shooting to a degree that it's mostly whether an offense makes or misses. Do you subscribe to that, or do you feel like the defense is the critical component to that?
Yeah, I would say I think the opposite probably. I know in the NBA, it's a make or miss league. And I think, over an 82 game season with professional players, it's an entirely different game than a 31 game season with college players. So to me, colleges programs try to a lot of times dictate, what you get and what you can get. And I think based on the choices you have available to you, when you evaluate another team's offense, you're going to see some strengths and weaknesses. In the NBA, there's not a lot of weaknesses with the offensive players. Everybody can pass with the right hand and left hand. Everybody can skip it across the court or hit a roller on the way to the rim. So I believe in college, you have the ability to dictate, the shots that your opponents get. Now, certainly, the amount of open shots they have, you're leaving things to chance. So wide open rhythm three, those are the ones you're trying to limit, because now you have left it in the hands of the offense. It's about, does that guy make the shots? So we're trying to have as few open rhythm threes for our opponents as possible, because those are the ones that they control, not us.
What emphasis does that put for your guys then on that scouting report? Like you mentioned, identifying personnel, but beyond that, those guys executing a game plan to limit or to force offenses into places where they don't want to be.
Yeah, it takes not only a lot of energy and effort and play really hard, but now you have to incorporate information as well, because, most teams at the college level have a couple guys that shoot it really well and maybe a few that don't. And so, those closeouts, you have to be able to, real time, when you're behind a play, make decisions that, your body responds to based on the amount of time you've spent studying and interpreting information, so that you don't think about it, you just react. And that's hard to do. It's hard to do, especially against teams that move the ball really well and have good offensive players that are tough to guard one-on-one. And it's something that our guys have taken an extra sense of pride in, not only playing our defense, but knowing what we have to accomplish based on who we're playing. And it's going to be even more important that we improve as the season goes on, because everybody knows each other's strengths and weaknesses. And you've got to try to do the best you can to be at your best, knowing the other team knows everything about you as well.
Thanks, TJ.
You're
All
welcome.
right, and we will finish up with Nick Ocean. Nick, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Morning, Coach. Thank you for the time today.
You're welcome.
Can you guys hear me? The identity and the buy-in on the defensive end is so obvious. I was just wondering kind of what the process was like for everyone to kind of buy in with this new team, get so involved on that end, and if it went, as smoothly or maybe even more smoothly than you would have anticipated this season.
As you, excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. As you, as a coach, evaluate how you're going to build your program, the more specific your plan and approach can be, I think allows you to have success sooner. Obviously, a big part of that is personnel and playing to the strengths of your guys, both offensively and defensively. So for us, defensively, the things that we're doing require a lot of effort. They require a lot of energy. It's not walk through and stand around. It's, if you're going to be good defensively, like, it's not necessarily always the most fun to close out countless hours every day, or to sprint back and transition, or excuse me, to rotate and block out. So like, what we were fortunate in the recruiting process to do is find guys that have low ego, that are high producers, that are going to be very coachable, and that they want that team success and success of Iowa State matters to them. So you have to have the right guys to do that, because some guys come in and just think, you know, it's about their offense and I want to do this and I want to do that. And we're not a program that like that stuff flies in. Like, we're a group that we play for each other in everything that we do. And we've been fortunate that guys like Brockington and Kelsher have come in and set the tone. A guy like Condit has embraced the changes. And for the most part, the others have fell in line with doing it. So why has it happened quickly? We started doing it in June. We didn't do the customary, you know, off-season quote unquote skill workouts. We did team stuff, and we've got great kids who practice hard every day. So we're fortunate that as they keep doing that, those habits come out when the reality of the game sets in. But right now we still have a few months left of the season. We got to keep getting better. We've got to continue to increase our ability to be successful. And so there's a lot of hard work in front of us each day so that we can keep improving, because, you know, now, like, as you play a team even once, or you in league play, or you get to the second time, everybody knows everything about everybody. And you've got to be that much better to be successful.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we got for you. Thanks for your time today, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.